and as you can see in this game, I am playing the Tier 5 Premium Battleship Agincourt. And, well, what can I tell you about this? Well, the first thing is the secondaries are legit for a Tier 5 battleship. That's probably the neatest thing about this ship. Now, I don't think I really got to put them to good use in this particular game, but they're really something, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Matchmaking, well, you can see that is all too often the case anymore. A lot of bot players, and this was, this wasn't at 3 a.m. or anything like that. I think this was played at 10 or 11 in the morning, something like that, Pacific time. So, yeah, middle of the day, I guess, would be a fairly accurate way of summarizing.
Enemy force detected.
But you will get some idea of, what the ship can do and what the guns can do. And I wanted to, because I've been working on Tier 5 destroyers a little bit here lately, I wanted to give you a glimpse of a Tier 5 battleship that you may not have seen much of. Neutron Jack there in the Kuma. And these shells take a while to arrive. Does he turn? Well, I think he turned a little late there, and he took a little bit of a beating as a result. You can see the Tier 4 and Tier 5 cruisers, they're not going to stand much of a chance, even against the HE on this ship, which can obviously citadel them. Okay, so let me read the little blurb at the World of Warships wiki. Agincourt, British Special Premium Tier 5 battleship, Brazilian dreadnought Rio de Janeiro, was laid down in 1911 in Elswick, but Brazil canceled its construction due to the deteriorating economic situation. The ship was bought by the Ottoman Empire. She was supposed to become part of the Turkish fleet under the name Sultan Osman I. However, amid the outbreak of World War I, Rio de Janeiro was leased by the British government and entered service as HMS Agincourt. In 1916, the ship took part in the Battle of Jutland, where she managed to hit German ships several times. Agincourt was first released for sale on 17 May 2021 and has since been available as a loot box random drop. As of update 011.0, she is available for doubloons in the armory and in the premium store. So, there is the little World of Warships wiki explanation of the ship. And you can see that I don't want to get close. The Danae, that ship has the potential to sink a battleship up close. So I'm just going to sit back and try and do what damage I can from range. Almost 4,800 there. The gun's not especially accurate, but as mentioned earlier, against Tier 5 cruisers in particular, can still be very effective. Okay, so the guns. What are they? Well, they're 305s. You've got 7 turrets, right? Take a look there. 2 forward, 2 amidships, 3 aft. So this ship is actually reasonably effective as a kiting battleship should the need arise. You still can get at least some of your guns even if you are moving away on a red ship. Rate of fire, well, 1.67 shots per minute, which is just a nice way of saying the reload time on these guns is 36 seconds base, which you can see there on the bottom of your screen. That's a pretty ugly amount, and it's not very user friendly, I guess would be a good way to put it. So let's why does that keep popping up? What is the deal there? There we go. All right, so let's get back to that. The 180-degree turn time is super slow, 45 seconds. So it's really best to try, if you can, to stay at mid to long ranges unless you intend to get your secondaries into the fight. And as I said at the very beginning, the secondaries can be very effective. Now we're 4.5 minutes in. I've done 16,000 points of damage, which is next to nothing. But I'm going to turn the ship around and I'm going to start pushing the other way. I just wanted to avoid becoming the center of attention because this ship is not particularly fast. I do manage to finish off the Kabul, and now it's time to go to work on that
Torpedoes to starboard.
light cruiser. You can see I've already targeted it with my secondaries, and you'll get to see them go to work. And I'll tell you a little bit about those here in a moment. The HE shells, the 305s I mentioned, with the HE damage max is 4,400 per shell with a 31% fire chance and 831 meters per second. Pretty slow initial shell velocity. The AP shells do a max of 8,100 with the same 831 meters per second speed. You can see that cruiser is moving away. I'm not sure that's going to help it much. It has kind of moved into the middle of 4 of my teammates, myself included, and is not long for this world. And the secondaries really are, they're chipping away. They're not doing anything remarkable. But I'll get to the total damage output of these things, the potential damage output of these things here shortly. And I'm going to go ahead and use one of these, I think. Well, that's the price you pay for getting close to a cruiser that has torpedoes. I don't want to repeat that by pushing into the Omaha and the Kuma, but I think at this range I'm probably reasonably safe, unless they come right at me, and if they do, they're going to be facing some blistering fire. There's another Citadel with the HE on a light cruiser, and you can see that quite a bit actually if you ever pick the ship up. Should you pull this thing out of a crate, it is fun to play. I have to say, it's as fun as any Tier 5 battleship I've played. It just plays very differently than most. Alright, so I told you I would tell you about the secondaries, so let me get to those. Base firing range, 5.5 kilometers. You can see I've got it out to, what is that, 8.3? Pretty decent. And managed to finish off the Kuma with the secondaries. Reload time 4 seconds. These are 152s, right? At least some of them. You've got 14 152 millimeter secondary guns that can do a maximum of 2,200 damage. Initial shell velocity on the secondary is 914 meters per second with a 12% fire chance, so you can start fires. And then the other secondaries, let me get you those. We got some 76s, 76 millimeters, got 10 of those. Reload time 2.7 seconds, 1,100 max HE damage, 823 meters per second with a 4% fire chance. And then there are a few more 152s, 6 of them with 2,200 max shell damage with the HE shells, and the initial shell velocity 914. So a lot of secondaries. You can see the team is just, we're just mopping up here. To give you a sense of what the secondaries are as compared to other Tier 5 battleships, when we look at the secondary damage per minute for all Tier 5 battleships, Agincourt is by far and away the absolute king in this category. The secondary DPM, 452,222. So that's almost 500,000 damage per minute from the secondaries, potentially. Now, in terms of how many will actually hit, still 107,601. The closest thing to that is Britann at 30,780. So less than a third of the secondary output from the nearest Tier 5 battleship secondaries. And I'm trying to finish off that Omaha, but our Omaha finishes them off. And secondary is still working on that Tiger, but this game's all over. It's typical of Tier 5 battleships, with perhaps the exception of all of the Congo and Congo variants, which there are a whole bunch, right? There's ARP ships, and Giulio Cesare, which is the Italian Tier 5 premium battleship, which is fairly maneuverable as our Omaha gets blapped by the Tiger. And you can see I've switched to the AP. A decent shot, not the Citadel finish that I hoped for, but fun ship. I'll take a moment here, we'll go through the stats. Okay, so we got 82,888 total damage on 37 shell hits. main shell hits. You can see 33 were pens, 1 overpen. 12 incapacitations, 3 ships destroyed, 6 fires started, 4 citadels, and 100 secondary hits. How often do you get to say that in a Tier 5 battleship? And this really wasn't a game that featured secondaries in particular. Picked up a couple close quarter experts. Only came in 3rd on the team. Tip of the hat to our Omaha Knicks and our Phoenix player, Flea CDP, both who played really well. Taking a look at the detailed report here in a moment. What else did I want to tell you about the ship while I'm there? Well, we'll get back to that. Crushed that Kuma. Finished off the deny, the Kavar did damage to Tiger and Omaha. 37 shell hits. Most of them HE. Not much in terms of fire damage, but it all adds up. Decent XP and credits, and really a fun Tier 5 battleship. If you like to mix it up, this is one that I can really recommend. Okay, so let's take a look at just the standard AP shells and give you some idea of what those are like compared to everyone else. And I'm looking that up right now. Main battery. Okay, where do we rank in terms of, let's see, in terms of AP output, 189,000. Top of that is the Conte de Divor, or di Cavour, followed by Rio de Janeiro, Viribus Inutis, then New York, Iron Duke, Giulio Cesare, König, October Revolution, Britannia. You can see it's down the list a little ways. HE DPM, take a look at that. Well, there it's number 4, followed just behind Rio de Janeiro, Iron Duke, Viribus Unitas, and then, of course, Agincourt. So guns are decent. The main guns are decent. I would stick mostly with HE at this tier and this battleship and let your secondaries work. Now, you may not want a secondary build, but I can say that the few games that I played in it, I found really fun. I hope you enjoyed this. It's a fairly short video today. If you did, I hope you will like and subscribe, maybe tell a friend, and I'll see you next time.